Hello and welcome to the Brian's Got Game. I'm Brian. Today I've got a game called Bravo. Bravo is a 1 to 6 player roll and write by Inka and Markus Brand and is published by Stronghold Games. This is a follow-up to Encore, made by the same designers, and uses the same basic gameplay but adds a few tweaks to the game. Similar to other games in the genre, roll and write, the active player rolls dice and then selects which dice they want to play, and then they check off boxes on their player sheet. The rest of the players must then choose from what's left and mark off boxes on their own player sheets. The goal is to use the dice effectively to complete rows and columns while strategically using bonuses along the way. So let's check it out, and I'll show you how to play the game, how to use the special die, and how to effectively use the bomb in Bravo. To set up, give each player one of these score sheets from the score pad. I'm just going to do one because they're limited. And then also give everybody one of these pens, and then place the 7 dice in the center of the table. You are now ready to begin. So the starting player rolls all 7 dice, and I'm going to gather those for you. And then you can do one of 3 things on your turn. 1, you can pass, so your turn is passed. 2nd, you can choose a number and a color, or these wilds, and then resolve those dice. So in order to resolve these dice, we have blue and 2, so that means we need to check off 2 boxes that are in a blue section, and they have to be orthogonally adjacent to each other. Also, it has to be either adjacent to H, or you have to be able to trace it back to H. So, for example, right now, I'm going to make 2 X's there and there. Now, in the future, I can connect to other X's. So, I'm not able to start here if I did a green later, but I can here because it's adjacent to my crossed off X. The third thing you can do on your turn is resolve this special die. So there's a bunch of different things on here, and if you choose to resolve this die, you have to cross off this special die thing. Maybe, yeah. And these are limited, and you can get them from crossing off the little box tokens around the little map, and you can get it for being the first person to complete the whole column H, but I'll get into those bonuses later. So if I chose to do this, I would cross out that right there, and then I get to do whatever ability is on there. So that one is cross off any 2 stars. So I'm going to cross off this green star. And these stars also have to be adjacent to things you already have checked off, or to something checked off in column H, or is in column H. So I have to do this other one. So the first 3 turns, so the active player goes, then all of the other players go, choosing from the same dice. After the first 3 turns, the active player rolls their dice, chooses what they want to do. So I'm going to do this green 5. So I'm going to cross off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I crossed out that special die, so that means I get one more special die use there. So after the 3 turns, starting with the 4th turn and from there on, the dice that they choose to resolve are removed from that round, and then all of the other players only have these dice to choose from. And if they choose to use the special die, it is also removed. So if I select these dice to resolve, the black X means I can choose any color, and they all have to still be in the same group, and you still have to be adjacent to something you've already checked off or is in H. So the X is any color, and then this wild number, the question mark, means I can fill in any number of squares between 1 and 5, because that's the highest that the die goes to. You can't fill in 6. So for instance, there's this grouping of blue right here, and there's 6 squares, and even though I have a wild, I can only fill in 5 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So some of the other things on this wild die is the heart. What the heart does is that means you get to circle the next available heart, and this is your heart level. And I'll talk about that in a second. One of the other bonuses is this one. This one means you get to check off any 3 squares in one row. So I could check off this square and then these 2 green ones. These don't have to be adjacent. You can also do the bomb, which blows up a 2x2, so I can choose to blow up all 4 of these. These don't have to be adjacent, but I did anyway. And then the last one is this color block. You fill in an entire color block. And it does have to be adjacent, but you can fill in 6 squares. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do this yellow one. Alright, another thing that can happen is I completed this entire column. So when you complete an entire column, you announce to everybody that you have completed column E, and since I am the first player to complete column E, I get this 2 points right there. And all of the other players would cross off that. So let's say somebody else announced that they finished column B, I would cross that out, and I can't get that bonus. Later, if other players complete the same column, or if I go complete column B, then they get the lower bonus. And whenever you complete a row, you write whenever you complete this column, you get your current heart value right there. So I'm a 1 as a bonus point there. And later, if I get a higher heart count, then all of the future columns that I complete will have the new values. The other thing that you can do is you can complete an entire row. So let's say I finished this row V. So I would announce to everybody I completed row V, and I would get these 5 points and this bomb. So I'd cross that off, and I'd get to cross off a bomb somewhere. If you're the first person to complete the row, you get the thing in this column, and all players who complete a row get the 5 points. So there's only a couple other things on this sheet. This one is the jokers. So if you choose something with a wild color or the question mark, then you have to cross one of these off. And after you've crossed all of them off, you can't pick them up anymore. And at the end of the game, you get 1 point for each one left over. And then the last thing is this color bonus. So if you are the first player to cross off all of one color, so let's say I crossed off all the greens, then I would get this 5 points right there. And then if a player does it after me, then they would get the 3 points. So the game immediately ends after the turn in which one or more players crosses off their second color bonus. So let's say later I'm the second person to complete the blue color. So after this turn, the game immediately ends. Then everybody scores. So you get points for your color bonus. So right now I have 8. I don't want to write numbers upside down because that'll look pretty bad. So you get points for your color bonus, then you get points for all of your completed columns. So your points circled down here or down here if I completed these later. You get points for all of your heart values written down here. So I would have had 2 there. And then you get 1 point for each of your exclamations not used, 2 points for all of your wilds not crossed out, and then you get -2 points for each star that you didn't cross off. Oh, and I forgot, you also score your rows, so my 5 points for the P through V. And then you add up all the values, subtract your stars, and then you get your total, and the player with the most points wins. That's how to play Bravo.
Okay, I've got my dad here for parents' opinion. So Dad, what did you think of Bravo?
I really liked Bravo. Stronghold seems to be coming out with their own line of roll and writes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
There's the whole Clever series. There was the Second Chance. There's this series starting. But I really like this one because I don't know. It seemed a little bit more cohesive and tight knit.
Yeah, there's like one goal. You're not trying to do a whole bunch of other things like in the Clever games. This one is all straightforward. You're making rows and columns and scoring points like that. But it's not simple. It's just you actually know what you're doing.
But I think with the other ones, there's like many paths to victory. This one, there's not as many.
Does it better.
It's really just, well, I mean, you're taking like one color out of the pool, so now everybody else is stuck with what's left.
Yeah.
So your sheets don't all look the same. But I really like the puzzle pieces and how you have to, like, you're limited to checking off within that, like, color.
Yeah, that is cool.
And
like
then it has to be
style.
adjacent to a previous one.
Yeah, I wasn't super crazy about that, but it makes sense because there's more points farther away, so you have to trek out there to get it. Anyway, we'll jump in with the components. It has a bunch of cool dice that are all like they're wood dice, and then they're custom like inset and then painted on the inside. So those look cool.
Yeah, they're your kind of typical German wooden dice.
Yeah, the typical German dice collection.
Yeah, you know, maybe.
Maybe. And then it has the little boards for all the players, and then also the little markers to write off, which I like. They're small markers and they fit in the box well. But the main problem I had with them, as you could see in the last segment, is that every time I try to write with it, the little top part falls off.
Yeah,
and
they're nice if you have little hands. But if you don't have little
I
hands,
have little hands. I wear size small gloves. Anyway. So then, like, you have to set the cap over there, and then it disappears halfway through the game, and then your marker tries out. But
yeah. Well,
other than that,
it's nice that they add them in. Otherwise, you have to
then you have to go find a
or
pen, and then
marker
it is definitely better than not
for
having
you
them.
and your 6 friends, which sometimes isn't easy to find 6 writing implements
that work. Anyway, the artwork, it's kind of an abstract strategy game, so it's mostly just graphic design stuff.
Yeah, it's not a whole
There's
lot of
no
artwork.
And then strategy. Fill in stuff and complete rows of columns.
Well, so I
Check.
did say before that there's not that many avenues, but there kind of are. There's the hearts.
Yeah, so all the times that we played, we never really did that. We just kind of didn't really go into it.
Yeah, well, it's tricky because in order to get a heart, you have to use the special die, and you don't have that many special dies. And then, or you have to complete a whole row to get one, and that takes time.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, it seems kind of like there's a race to try to finish the columns because those are shorter, but then you don't get the heart level because you haven't built your heart up. So there are different, I would say, kind of avenues or maybe strategies.
Yeah.
We haven't played it. We haven't used up our whole pad yet, so we haven't tried every single one of them. But yeah, if you've played it and you think you have a good strategy, put a comment in the video. And the more we play, we can kind of add in what we're up to as well.
Okay, sweet. Easy for kids. Yeah. I mean, you roll dice, and then they're already colored, so you need to know your colors.
Your colors and numbers.
And then it'd be nice to count from 1 to 6.
Yeah.
Or 1 to 5.
You need to know how bombs work, so you can use bombs.
Oh, I don't know about how bombs work. But
so we played with Lincoln. He picked it right up.
yeah.
He didn't have a problem with it.
So it's really easy. You roll the dice and then check in the little boxes.
Yeah, easy rules. Are they going to win? Maybe.
You'd be surprised.
Well, there's also, like you mentioned before, the farther out you are,
No more points.
the more
Columns
points are worth. Yeah. And then there's all of the color bonus, and so that's a different way to go, and that kind of triggers the end of the game. So yeah, there's kind of a lot going on, but I don't know. I like this one better than other roll and writes.
Yeah, I did too. It's not my favorite roll and write in the world, but like it's definitely, I like it better than a lot of other ones. So overall, Bravo is a really solid game. Like we had a lot of fun playing it, and then we played it once, and we're like, okay, let's play it again. And then it's super easy. You don't have to learn a whole lot of rules. You just roll the dice and then check off the little squares.
Yep. Yeah. Bravo on Bravo.
Bravo on Bravo. By Stronghold Games. Thank you for watching Brian's Got Game. Please like us on our Facebook page. Send us a tweet at Brian's Got Game. Visit our webpage, briansgotgame.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Brian. This is my dad, and I'll see you next time.